on. Sorry about that. There is literally no button to go live other than adding a video.
Is locked. Rotate.
All right.
Oh.
Okay,
Well,
so it looks like we are. He just wanted it to be horizontal.
Dang it.
Because he's over 40.
Whatever.
Okay, it looks
We're
like
gonna do it next time.
Hello,
Now we know how to
everybody.
do it.
Sorry about that. First time classic issues here. But we're back, and we're vertical. I don't know how to get it horizontal.
All right, we're going horizontal next time. We'll figure it out. We're still getting the
Okay.
details. All right, let me tell my shark story now.
Okay, he wants to tell his what is it, your scariest shark story?
No, it's not scariest. Actually, it's not. So I'm teaching open water class. We're doing our checkout dives down in West Palm on something called 60-foot barge, which is just south of the
Just south of a boring story. So what
I'm
happened?
getting there. Give me a second. The more you interrupt, the longer it's going to take. Anyways, so it's really bad visibility. We're on, and really strong currents. So we're on the north side of the barge because we've got this strong north current just blowing everything up. Finally get done with like our skills and everything, and we're like, all right, we'll go around the barge, see if there's anything there. We go around the west side of the barge, start coming around, and 4 enormous bull sharks just come swimming right around the side, right in front of the students. This is their first dive ever. None of them panicked. It was great. It was the coolest thing ever because they just like, I mean, they all kind of like froze and were like, oh my gosh. But yeah, nobody panicked. And that's kind of the point of the story is you see sharks all the time underwater and it's cool to see and it's awesome and you get these great stories. But rarely do you have a real incident where it's a dangerous incident. So anyway.
Yeah, that was my take on it every single time. Taco Bell is far more dangerous than sharks. It is.
I would agree.
Because while I'm over here trying to fix this, he's over there eating. And he was.
I was. It was good.
And he didn't care.
Had a
All he
chalupa.
wanted was it to be horizontal, which we can't seem to do. I think it's when we come on, it locked.
Yeah.
Because horizontal is a lot better for 2 people sitting here.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, he's over 40, so that's the only way he knows.
Yeah.
He actually
And the
goes
video's
on.
much better like that.
He actually goes on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever else on a desktop. He does not have the apps on his phone.
I don't have the apps on my computer either. I go online on the browser.
On the website. And suddenly everyone said they will never pee in their wetsuit, pissed themselves after seeing sharks.
Yes, that is true. They definitely warmed up the ocean a bit, but yeah, it was pretty cool.
I had somebody on one of the videos here, I think it's that one with the green legs peeing. Okay, so for everybody that's here on live, I'm going to tell you what that yellow liquid was. There's a very viral video with the Michael Jackson movie. He doesn't see viral videos because he doesn't have a phone. And so it was a very viral video that had Smooth Criminal, and it showed my 2 legs with the pee coming out of both sides. And everyone wanted to know what that was. And it was that like Mexican juice that's in the like glass bottle. What's that? Chorrito? I think so. Yeah, you see it in the stores. It's like they had the fruit juice. And so, yeah, I poured a whole thing down. I had the wetsuit just up to my waist. And something I didn't realize was, the soda burns after like 30 seconds. And then also, it was yellow, so it looked like pee, and I wanted a little bit of fizz. And then also, after I showered and cleaned up, it was in the driveway outside. And like we came out, like 15 minutes later, flies everywhere. So it like ran down the driveway. It was like sugary. And it was like a fly. It was awful. Doritos, that's it. Somebody had it.
I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
It's the pee video where, he doesn't watch social media at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is funny. I still have Smiley Tech. What's up? I got to figure out who all these people are because it's a little bit of a different. I recognize most of you. We just came over from TikTok Live over to here, but we good? A little funky. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. We just came over to here, so I recognize some of you for sure, but some of you I don't know. So Smiley Tech. But yeah, we were.
What does this button do?
Don't.
That goes the other way.
He's not allowed to push buttons.
Sorry.
It's going to like put everybody. Luckily, the light blinded it.
Yeah, the light blinded it.
You see the whole couch crew over there. Devin Odenbaugh, 6:30. Here, you got to see this. Here, really quick. They're going to realize it in like 2 seconds. Well, it's all.
Oh, that's what that does. I see.
Yeah, it's all messed up anyways, so we're good.
Anyway.
There they are.
Yeah.
Hey, Amber Kest, who's that, yo?
Oh, yo! What's up?
Becca Z.
I know that's probably my son because Amber's driving, and so that's probably. By the way, Cody, first time starting as a quarterback in 14U, threw 2 touchdowns, ran for 12 yards on a scramble. So yeah, good first game, buddy.
So yeah, that's his
And
son. If
representing
anyone's
them.
wanting to know.
Yeah.
Watching your shorts and other content, love it. Good stuff, guys. Best of luck to you. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate that. This is our first live on here.
From TikTok, I'm the guy who stated about the shark accident. It's my very old account, so don't judge my nickname.
Hey, ain't nobody gonna judge your nickname. I don't even have a nickname on mine.
No, he doesn't have any of this stuff. Also, thanks for making the jump over here.
No, I have been on YouTube though. I can go on YouTube.
Yeah, on his browser. He's a browser guy. It's pretty frustrating. We even tried to set him up accounts so he could come on and do these, and he won't do them.
That's not I won't. I just didn't.
But this is a new crowd, somewhat. So any questions you guys have, hit us. Throw it out there. What were we talking about in the last one? Breathing out through your nose. That was one.
Yeah, we did
defogging mask. All
the
those
shark
stuff.
thing and the NARC. You don't have any instances. Oh, I do have another NARC one. Okay, so we were doing hole in the wall, which is about 130 at the bottom, somewhere around there. My first time ever doing it. It was with a whole bunch of dive masters. I went into, or we were coming up on the hole, and I was already narked as could be. It was my first time going deep like that, and I saw this enormous bull shark. Again, bull sharks, I guess tonight. Enormous bull shark, probably like 7-10 foot long, right on top of the ledge, right where the hole is. I came up, I was raving about this thing on the surface. Everybody was like looking at me like I was weird. Apparently, it was like a 4-foot gray reef shark.
Well, you're getting roasted on there, and
I know.
I love every minute of it. He
I'm
knows.
sure.
Okay, you just like to browse. He browses.
I don't know what that means.
Hopefully, this story doesn't involve anyone humping a wreck. And then,
See, that's someone coming from
still
TikTok,
using
so-
Internet Explorer. No, he's a Netscape guy.
No, dude, I have a Mac. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. Okay. Hope you don't mind bugging you now about the Dive Buddy app. Absolutely, you can hit me with that anytime. They were just on live on TikTok. So just a reminder, like I don't work for Buddy. I definitely know them. I support them. I'm pretty in the know with it, but I don't have any like ability to do any like tech troubleshooting or anything like that. But I will do my best.
Any travel agency recommend? Honestly, I haven't used a travel agency in.
I didn't know anybody still did that.
Yeah, no, they still have them, but I think a lot of times I will tell you one that works. If you have a membership to Costco or something like that, a lot of times the big box stores do a pretty good job of putting stuff like that together.
What?
Yeah, I'm serious. Costco
Is this
has
a joke?
No, I'm being serious.
You're saying like Costco has a travel package?
Yes, you can go on there and they do all kinds of travel stuff for them.
Is anybody?
See, you don't know everything.
Is he being?
I know the old
smart
people
here?
stuff. You know the like
AAA. Now that one I believe. I only do YouTube. I'm an old. Yeah. He wanted to come on here just so we could have horizontal, and we tried, and it didn't let us.
Yeah.
Which actually would have made it easier for me.
Yeah, we'll do it the next time. We'll definitely do it the next time. I'm not giving up on this.
Costco has deals on everything. I
They
had a
do.
membership back in the day.
Costco is still awesome.
I actually used to have a snack
You know you
machine.
can still get the hot dog and drink for $1.50. Still, it's insane.
I always overspend, like at that old Seinfeld
Obviously.
episode where Kramer buys all that beefarino and feeds it to the horse. Yeah, that's me because I
Feed
always just
beef
buy
to a
too
horse?
much. Yep.
I didn't know horses.
For dives too, I know Costco. I don't know if they do dive, but some of those resorts have diving add-ons. I know like a good one in Cozumel does. And then of course, if you're going to do a dive, some dive shops that are busy, like one here at Seminole Scuba, they do a lot to Egypt and Zanzibar because that's where he was from. So he has all the people that have been there and have connections. Sometimes get way better deals, and they'll go ahead and arrange. So a good, busy traveling dive shop sometimes actually does work as a good travel.
It's also not a bad idea, especially if you're going to a foreign country, to go with, don't try and plan it yourself first. Go with a dive shop that travels a lot because they can help you with that stuff.
Yeah.
Give
So
tips on advanced nitrox, or give tips on advanced nitrox.
Yeah, I mean the tip is it's essentially tech diving. It's the introduction. Advanced nitrox is the introduction to tech diving. So understand things are going to get a lot more expensive, and you're going to need to put in a lot more training. I'm not trying to take you away from it because it's a good course, and frankly, even if you don't ever end up doing tech diving, you'll know so much more about it because you learn all the stuff that you only learn the basics in the basic nitrox course. You learn way more in this, and so even if you don't end up doing it, it's a good idea. But it is going to be expensive, and you are going to need additional gear for that.
And especially if he says going to do deco there too. So.
Right, exactly. Well, that's usually the advanced nitrox. That's what you're starting. Deco. You're going to do deco tables and all that kind of stuff. So
those 15-liter nitrox tanks hurt the bank.
those 15-liter.
15 liter. So I'm assuming.
How much is a liter?
Yeah, I'm
trying to
assuming
do
you're in like Europe or UK. Because like the tank sizes here are cylinder sizes, bottle sizes, Becca.
Yeah.
Are most people say the cubic feet of them.
Yeah.
So we say an aluminum 80, it's an 80 cubic feet.
Budget-friendly trips. I will give you a good one. If you can go places that have shore diving, it's significantly less expensive. And there's some really, really good shore diving out there. Not Blue Heron.
Blue Heron can be if the
Blue Heron is okay, but it is not what you. Once you do it once or twice, you've done Blue Heron. But places like Hawaii, Roatan, the Bahamas, places like that, they have some really phenomenal shore diving that you can do, and it may be a little expensive to get there, but once you're there, the diving gets really, really cheap because you just got to basically rent tanks.
Favorite camera for videos. So I've gone full circle here. I had the Sony a7 III, which is more photos than video. But I've gone back to the GoPro 11s. Now, obviously not for like high-level professional, but they're getting so good. And even they've gotten really amazing. And it's like, unless you're going for something that's production level, they're really capturing good. The other thing they do really well is the stability. And so getting rid of that shake and everything, they're 5.3K in that. There's another one coming out in like 2 months, but I've actually gone back mainly to the GoPro 11s. And if you can get your lighting right and the conditions right, you'd be shocked what you can do.
All right, two things that they said. Number one, if 11 liters is 100 cubic feet, then yeah, those are expensive, but man, those bigger tanks are worth it, especially if you're going to be going a little bit deeper. If you're doing 45, 60-foot stuff, you don't need them. But if you're going a little deeper than that, those bigger tanks are worth it. Second thing, what was it? There was, not favorite. Oh, the meetups. He actually used to own a dive shop and did dive meetups all the time. There's some great, the Buddy app is one of them that you can use to do dive meetups. You can also use, Facebook Messenger. There's a bunch of, or not Messenger, Facebook website. There's a bunch of things like that. But the Buddy app is
so the big thing with the Buddy app is there's something coming out that's going to be a game changer in scuba diving, and that is the search function. So that you're going to be able to search around for buddies in a certain area, and then you can put in criteria like skill level and things like that. So that's going to be a game changer. I had an interview a few weeks back where I interviewed Alexis, the creator of the app, actually in Hawaii, and I was kind of making the joke. I wasn't the first one to make it, but it's almost kind of like a Tinder or Bumble. But I think she said it's like Bumble Friends for divers. So you can actually search people that kind of meet your criteria.
All right, yes, I got it. 6'5", 200, yes, you would definitely do well to get yourself a steel tank. I wouldn't go with 100 though. What I would go with, there's actually a tank that used to be a low pressure 95 that you can still kind of find those, but instead of getting the low pressure 95, the exact same tank is a high pressure 117. The high pressure 117 is essentially the exact same tank as the low pressure 95. It will give you a lot more gas than the aluminum 80 will. And if you're that big, then yeah, I would definitely suggest getting it. It's a little expensive, but it's more than worth it. And you would want two of them because usually you're going to need two of them. So.
Sorry, I got to re-mic everyone.
Where would you suggest for a first kind of the U.S. dive trip? My son and I are having a tough time deciding. There's no real budget. We just can't decide. Actually, the Keys are great. West Palm is really good once you get a little bit more advanced. It's not bad for new divers. You could definitely do it, and it's good. But the Keys are a great one. It's still in the U.S. You can drive there. You don't have to fly. And it has some phenomenal diving, everything from the lowest, recreational, brand new, you're first getting on there, 25, 15-foot wrecks, all the way up to, things like the Spiegel Grove and the Vandenberg. So, yeah, that would be my suggestion. You don't have to worry about visas. You don't have to worry about getting any, any passports or anything like that. The Bahamas would be my second one, but that's if you're going overseas, and there's a little bit more that you have to do for that.
Yeah, it's super close, though. I mean, there's
It is super
ferries
close,
and
but you're
short
still going to have to get a
flights.
passport, and I
Yeah.
think you have to get a visa now. Or I heard, maybe not. Will you be doing any dives in the Midwest? Are there dives in the Midwest?
There are dives in the Midwest.
Okay.
They're out there.
Probably. It's not high on the list. I'm not saying I wouldn't go if I was invited, but
The Gilboa Quarry and Mermet Springs, those are considered Midwest, and they're pretty cool. They've got looks like sunken forest and cars and buses and.
South Africa is pretty cool. I haven't done it. I would love to do South Africa, but it's a bit getting over there. That's not going to be a cheap trip.
Ivory, great dive, Georgia Aquarium. Yeah, a lot of our friends work there. That's a great dive.
Yes.
We work at the Disney Aquarium, so we're bitter rivals. No, I'm just kidding. We could care less.
Yeah,
we
all
actually
kinds of
know
friends.
most of the people that work there.
Yeah.
In fact, that when they were setting up their dive program, I want to say 2007, 8, 9, somewhere in there. They came and we toured them. I was a new guy. They're like, hey, walk these Georgia Aquarium people around the aquarium and let them in all the doors. And they got to tour our facility to figure out how to set one up for them, because most of the aquariums actually work together and help each other. They're definitely not competitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one.
Did you know I've never been on a cruise? Never.
Cruise is a
Literally
great way to
never been
do
on
a
a
lot of diving and without all the hassle with the travel. All you gotta do is get your stuff
do you
there.
get your choices, or you have to kind of
Well,
go with their
you pick an
provider, or-
itinerary. Yeah, you can either book through the cruise, or you can, if you know where you're going, you can Google it and just do it as an excursion. If you do it through the cruise and they're good, they'll kind of handle all the transport for you. But if you're used to traveling, then yeah, I'll book somebody and then just go meet them. Absolutely, cruise is a great way to see a lot of places you can't do any other way that fast. And you can just come back and just chill at the end of the night and not worry about food. And
What's 727 at Mermaid Springs? What's that?
727
Is
at
that
Mermaid.
a plane at Mermaid Springs?
Oh, it's 727 at Mermet Springs. Yeah, the plane. That's really cool looking.
That's 727 at Mermaid Springs.
Yeah. Any tips for diving Epcot that most divers miss?
Most people miss anything. Like,
So one thing I see, so there's a few hidden Mickeys.
There are.
Ask the dive masters, be like, I want to see that, and if I'm there, I'll show them to you for sure. But most of the dive masters can. Just remember the first bit of the dive. Occasionally, they may have to go tend to a guest or something. So give them a little time. So once the dive kind of gets going, the second half of the dive is a perfect time.
just go up to them and go like this, and they'll understand what you mean.
Yeah, and he might even be able to find them.
Might?
So there's little hidden Mickeys. The other thing I would suggest, and this is something I've seen happen, is go and check out the far windows and the little weird windows. Occasionally, I've had people that didn't even know it was going. There's like weddings going on in some of the VIP lounges. And sometimes there's famous people in there. So don't be scared to go up to the windows and high five, dance with the bride or the groom. They love that. You'll be a superstar. So don't be scared of the not front and center windows. I've seen people miss entire, we've seen people from Shark Tank over there and stuff. So
Liveaboards in the U.S. I will tell you, I have not been on a liveaboard either, but I know a bunch of folks that have done liveaboards over the Bahamas and have absolutely loved it. Just make sure you're on a boat with people that you're going to like, because you're going to be on there for a week with them, and it's a very small area. So
yeah, so if you can, do your homework on the liveaboard, because it's kind of like once you're in, you're kind of stuck.
yeah, or if you're trying to determine whether to stay in a relationship, it's not a bad way. You'll figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, you're going to find out how well you gel together real quick.
Yeah.
Aggressor Fleet does good ones. In fact, I just interviewed the founder of Spacefish Army, worked on liveaboards for quite a bit. That's actually where she launched Spacefish Army. It's she had a lot to say about it. So she's in a couple of my previous interviews, and her contact's on there. If you follow Spacefish Army and Messenger, she literally worked it, shot the video, and she did everything. Like if you watch Below Deck, she pretty much did everything from bosun to chief stew, and of course lead dive master and videographer. So
How long you been diving?
how long? 98 started, 2006 got my dive master and started working at Disney.
1993, so 30 years this year.
His is easy though. If you just walk into his garage, it looks about 93, 95-ish.
He's got the jokes.
I've got the video and the pictures. We were just there the other day, and I ran into his garage. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Taking video."
Yeah, because he needed to borrow a tank.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I'm not gonna get it. Eat, sleep, dive on liveaboards. Yeah, that's the other thing. So I don't particularly have any interest in liveaboards because I like to do the dive, go to the tiki bar, and go do other things. If you're there to just dive all the time, tiki or the liveaboard's the way to go. Just kind of be careful who you're going with. That's because you're together.
Mike has been. Yeah, thanks, Becca.
Becca, extra points for you.
Nah, we got it. I think we got all of them.
So yeah, he's been diving a little longer than me, but he had a couple dry spells.
I didn't have dry. What are you
had
talking
dry
about?
spells.
I did not.
I was running a dive shop, and he was getting his law degree or something.
Yeah, and I was diving over there.
Yeah.
You keep going back up. We got all those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jealous.
Oh, Taste Buzz. Yeah, actually, I met him at the end of. He came and did the dive. He's got a YouTube channel, but he was a guest, and I met him. We were
okay.
chatting right as you guys were leaving. You know, at the little outside of the locker rooms right before they go, and we exchanged contact. And
nice.
but yeah, he's been in there diving, and he had you had some video from the restaurant too. So one cool thing about Epcot, actually, now that we mention it, is if you have family or whatever, this is actually what makes it, I would suggest. Georgia is one you definitely have to do once. The Epcot one is one people come back to. And the reason is because of the interaction in the windows. And you can actually get family to go or your friends to go and get a table reservation in the restaurant, and you can go over and actually go and swim over and check them out.
All right, so in just a second, they want you to talk about the Meg Tooth dive, but there was another question about technical
I'm getting
diving.
weird hand signals.
Any interest on technical diving? All right, so here's the thing on the technical diving, right? If you're going to do technical diving, you've got to commit a lot of time to it. I was working at the University of Hawaii Dive Safety Office. I started my tech diving out there. I got through some of it, and then I ended up having to go get a job at the prosecutor's office out there because I got my law degree and I had to actually pay for it because, unfortunately, as much fun as the job at UH was, it was not paying the bills. But tech diving is a great thing, but you got to commit to it. You can't do it halfway. That's when people get in a lot of trouble, is when they start doing the halfway. Oh, I learned a little bit. Okay, I'm good enough now to go in a cave. No, you either need to learn it all the way, or don't do it. You got to commit to it if you're going to do it. So
I have one other thing.
What?
When you become a tech diver, that is not a license to go and make fun of new open water divers on our comment feed. Tech diving is different from recreational. We're checking our audio here. Sorry, a little bit of audio issues. Maybe our batteries are dying. I don't know. But tech diving is technically a separate category of diving, and just remember that when you're the black belt and you're coming back to the little white belts. But tech diving it will definitely take you a lot further. You can go deeper. So if you just want to keep going and diving, tech diving is usually the route, unless you want to be a leader, in which case dive master and instructor. That's actually what we started talking about back in the beginning before you got here. It's weird that diving seems to only have two paths. Mm-hmm. When people start getting good, they then tend to draw toward tech diving, or that's one path. They want to go and teach. Mm-hmm. But getting good as a recreational diver seems somewhat lost.
Yeah,
that was and I feel like that's a missed.
I'm not. That may be true, but it also may be just because that's what we see. Because you wouldn't see that a whole lot because they wouldn't be in your realm.
It's rare though. They tend to go
not those. Because when I worked on the boat, we actually had a lot of regulars who never got their dive master, never went tech diving, just loved going out on the boat. Literally would come out at least once a week. Every week they'd come out diving with us, and so I think the reason you don't see them as much is they're not coming and taking classes from you. and they're not doing the tech diving thing and doing all that kind of stuff. So they're there. They're just, it may not be as many, but there definitely are people there that are doing
that's fair.
that. So,
Yeah, nah, that makes sense. On our shark dive too, we had audio, no, hand wave, no, good, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple that were there. I think like couples and stuff, so they'll tend to just dive together or families.
Right.
So yeah, it makes sense. That's fair.
Yeah.
Then you can put on a super light and go deep.
I'm not putting.
I know Leah's
I've worn
yeah.
a super light. It was fun to do, but I don't have any desire to go do that anymore for commercial diving.
The super light, yeah, and then there's commercial, which is a whole other category. But you see the tech and the recreational mixing a lot because a lot of times they're going to the same dives and
and a lot
shopping at the same places.
And a lot of stuff, the technical community does something first, and then it moves to the recreational once it's been tested and kind of got
Curated
out of it.
and- yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Nitrox. That's how Nitrox started.
Yeah.
That's how backplates or rear inflate BC started, and backplates and wings. You see a lot more of those in the recreational. You see the necklaces for the octos. All those things have been tested first in the tech world.
He loves his
and then they
necklace
come-
for his
It makes look.
for his 60.
We've talked about that. It has all the reasons in the world for it.
Yeah.
So.
Now, hey, I'm not against it. I just
Yeah.
I'm always waiting for him to untangle his giant octopus of tentacles while
doesn't
we're
know what
all
he's
waiting.
talking
And
about.
I've got video to prove it.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, I do.
Tech diving is okay. Yep.
I go for the fish. Yeah, you know what though?
And
That
a new hip and knee replacement by 40.
What?
And
Why?
new
Who
hip.
needs a new hip replacement by 40? What is this? Becca's
this
making
could be
jokes.
bait.
It is bait.
Yeah, you might be being baited
Deep
right now.
dive details. What is that?
I go for the fish. You know what? BP underwater. You just had a really good point.
Gosh darn it.
You had a really good point. So, I see that obviously I got a lot of channels and I get a lot of comments. You see a lot of different opinions. But something in a 1950s Time magazine interview with Jacques Cousteau, they said, well, how can you explain diving to somebody? What's it like to somebody that's never been diving? And he said something, now don't quote me here, but it was something along the lines of, well, that's like saying someone that's never been a human, maybe an alien or something, what's it like to be born? What's life like? And it's like, wow. It's so different. There's people that love the peace. There's people that love the adventure. There's people that love being just to themselves down there. And there's people that love the social element. Some people love hunting. They love conservation. Some people love going deep. Some people like the shallow, bright stuff. So it's never, whatever reason, because like we've talked about how like he doesn't like going to freshwater springs. He thinks they're boring. And I prefer the ocean as well. But I've just seen so many people that love the tranquility of it, and they don't want to deal with all the currents and all that stuff. They're just there just to go
Yeah.
and so there's something for everyone out there. So I think it's really important that to remember that out there. I see people doing stuff all the time. I'm like, I have no idea why they'd want to do that. And people would probably say the same thing about me. So just keep that in mind out there as you guys dive.
He said, going into a rec shop when you're looking for tech stuff, they kind of look at you, and that's true. And there's a reason for that, is because shops that focus just on recreational divers, they probably don't have anyone in that shop that does tech diving, and so you're going to have to find another shop if you need that stuff. It's not going to work for you. So
Right.
just say thank you for your help and go find another shop.
So the RR Stone Tug and the Pocahontas. So I'm assuming that's different. We had one that's now called the Danny. I think it was originally named Pocahontas or something off West Palm.
Right? That's off Wrightsville Beach they're talking about. Look.
No, I know. So I think that's a different wreck entirely.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have not done that one
Another
before.
Midwest is the Bonterre.
Bonterra Mine. Yeah, that's something we actually want to do. So as soon as that owner reaches out, we'll go do it down to 60 and maybe even do an interview with them.
I don't know what that is.
It's this flooded mine. You'll check it out. It's cool.
Okay.
North Carolina.
Carolina.
Cool.
Yeah.
That actually is on the bucket list too, because I'd love to go dive with the
there it
sand
is.
tigers.
There's
out
the
there.
quote.
What does it say? From birth, man carries the weight of gravity on his shoulders. He is bolted to the earth, but man has only to
sink beneath the surface, and he is free. A different
Yeah.
quote, but another great
Yes,
Jacques
no,
Cousteau
that's good.
quote.
audio gets blown.
Not terrible, just letting audio's getting blown.
Can we just use the audio
yep.
from that thing?
I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna kill this.
Okay.
Kill this. 1 second. Hang on. And audio check. Are we good? Can you hear us? Yes. 1 second. No. Audio test. Up, down. I'm seeing a number 1.
There we go.
Are we good? I'm seeing every hand signal but no or yes. Okay, now we got an okay sign. That one we know.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
No, here. There we go.
Yeah, can we get a long distance surface okay? Also, for any new divers out there, this is the one up close underwater and this is the one on the surface.
I dive for mental health. Oh, that makes all the sense in the world. You don't even have to explain. I totally get that.
That's what he should do.
Yeah, no. But in all seriousness, we had a captain on the boat I worked with, and we needed her to get in the water every couple of months because if she didn't, she was a wonderful person when she's been diving. A little more difficult when she hadn't, but I totally get that one. It's a little less volume, but can hear. Okay, good. It's good, but you're a little quieter, so you gotta be loud.
Okay, so we gotta talk a little
We gotta
loud.
talk loud.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
This
I
is
can
just
do that. Yeah, I can do that.
You just gotta get him excited about something, and he'll start talking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But the knife on the leg, that'll always get him excited.
All right. Wait. Do you want me to tell you why you need a knife on the leg?
No, but you sure would love to.
I'm actually going to tell you anyway. All right. So if you have your tiny little knife on your BC and you're having to cut a rope off a turtle or get a line caught off of something that's wrapped around, it's a whole lot easier if you got a bigger knife on there. Now, I'm not saying you need it to fight sharks. I mean, if you want to fight a shark, fine, whatever. But I'm not saying that's what it's for. So it's much easier and it's out of the way if it's there. You got so much crap on your BC, if you have it on your leg, it's not in the way. That's my piece. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, there's definitely some truth to that, but I think having the time, like putting it on the leg, because we're doing drift diving typically when this happens, putting it on the leg, strapping it on, it's just, I like to eliminate tasks, spring straps, mast strap, all those things. And on a rocking boat with minutes to get in, we're always waiting on him.
Yeah, I'm glad to have your YouTube, and it's good to talk scuba. Yes, it is. I'm always up for talking scuba.
Yeah, he will talk forever.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll just let him take the phone home, and he'll talk the whole way home.
Jim Europe lies in 110 feet deep water, northwest of Moorhead. Plenty of sand tigers. I would love to do that.
Yeah, one of these days we
I would
gotta
love
go
to
up.
do a U-boat. I read the book. If anybody has read the book Shadow Divers, because it is a phenomenal book. Like one of the best diving books ever, and they got the diving right in it, which. I've read books that they did not get the diving right, and you can't get into the story because it's frustrating. So,
Michael, yeah, I'm a fan of putting it on the BC, and for me, it's about task loading, and so for me, I like to minimize the tasks. So I go way extreme. I want to have it because I'm usually shooting video, and so I want to be able to just get in and go, or get out really quick and climb up on something. So I'm trying to eliminate anything I can. So I've got a slap strap on my mask. Any gloves or anything I'm taking with me is clipped on like a carabiner onto my gear, even if it's clunky, just to get it on so I can get it off the boat. And then as I'm descending, whatever, I can situate.
it's pretty streamlined. You put it on your hands.
What?
The gloves, you put them on your hands, are pretty streamlined too.
He's making jokes, people. So the other thing is too, I noticed I'm surprised they even still sell fins with straps. I think every fin should either have a bungee or a spring strap, and most of them are actually.
I think I was going to say I think they're moving that way because it just. Although I did have one rip the other day, but you can do that.
You can do that with any of them.
Seems fun, but a lot more
stinging stuff.
That's true.
I mean, you are correct.
Everybody who's been in salt water long enough has been stung by something, but you know what? It's not unless it's a box jellyfish. It's not going to last that long.
Yeah.
Or what is it? There's a Japanese
the
name.
Irukandji.
Irukandji. Yeah. But that's in the Pacific, and there's ways to protect.
We have fire coral here. It's not the end of the world.
It hurts,
the biggest thing is just stay off the reef, which you're supposed to be doing anyways. And so pretty much when we're in the ocean, assume everything stings or bites.
Yeah.
And then you're fine, and just avoid those things. Like we've even been in some areas in the sand where we were just laying or goofing off on the bottom, our legs were bare or whatever, and you come up and your legs and what you thought was white sand has like all kinds of just rash and red fire on it because there's stinging things down there.
Yeah.
So anyways, everything bites or stings in the ocean, so assume that and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. But that's also what the fun part of it is. I mean, so that's you were talking about the peace versus the adventure. I like both. I like the piece of being down underwater where you cannot have, there's no phones, there's no emails, there's no social media. You're just down there by yourself.
Well, he doesn't have social media anyway.
That's
so,
true. So no phones or even. But the other thing is the adventure part of it. I mean, I'm curious what everybody thinks. Like, I much prefer the adventure part, but I don't discount the peace part. That is a really important. That was one of the mental health things you said. So,
Michael Lambert, thank you. This is from Cousteau's, which is a milkshake and waffle bar in St. Augustine, which is where my shop was, and still I would argue where my hometown is. They have 2 places on the beach in downtown, and everything's Zissou themed there, even the names of everything, their commercials. Cousteau's milkshake and waffle bar, their stuff is on point. It's fun just watching their marketing. I don't know how busy a milkshake and waffle bar is, but it's fun.
BP underwater, I'm with you. That's happened before. You ever got that where you got something
Very
stuck?
common on the lip, actually,
it's
because of the way the bubbles kind of suck things.
There's not much you can do about it. It's not a big deal. It happens every once in a while, but it usually doesn't sting like to the point where you can't stand it. It's just kind of like, ow, that really hurt, and then you're over it pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, great food and ghost tours in St. Augustine. I lived right downtown, and I had people walk by the house and say, "Now that's a haunted house." And I also lived over on the Conch House on the island, right across from the Conch House. That's actually where I started teaching. That's where it all started, at the marina there, the Conch House Marina. And then I lived on the beach, and my shop was right there by the lighthouse. And one thing a lot of people don't know about St. Augustine, it has really good, beautiful white sand beaches. And most everybody thinks it's red beaches, like south and north of there, but it's got like red sand.
I literally didn't know they had red sand.
Flagler Beach as you're driving up, red sand, and so is Milano, but we're off topic.
It's
But
not
yeah,
off topic. They're asking about it.
Leon Lyons Maritime Museum was iconic in St. Augustine. So the lamp was actually behind us, and we worked with them. In fact, the guy who runs the show there, Chuck Mead, he's on our season 1 podcast. Season 1's a little rough around the edges, we were learning, but he's got a good interview about they go and pull the cannons up and things like that. So they found some muskets, cannons, some bells, and some really historical ships. They were right behind our back door.
Okay, so Ivory Johnson? Well, yeah, I mean, one of the ways, like it says, want to be a dive master, we got to work on a way to help others overcome their fears. The easiest way to do that is just put yourself in their place. And one of the things that works for me is when I was first diving, I had all the same fears everybody else did. And I can still remember what it was like, and so what would have helped me in those situations, and so that's how I try and help other people, is just thinking what would have helped me in those.
Hey, used to dive at iDive. Great. Hey, it was good to see you. I'm sorry that I sold it. They hung around for a little while, but they did go out of business. So I was sad to see that. I actually walked in there a few months back, and the new owners let me walk around and look at it, which was really cool. I think they do like a planning, catering service now. But yeah, good times there, and it's good to see you on here.
Somebody asked about diving with a beard. Tell them about that.
Oh, this is a good. I get this one a lot. I don't shave it, but it's all about finding the right mask and being a little bit tolerant of an occasional, you're doing little clearings from time to time. But I actually use Atomic if they fit. It has to fit, and maybe somebody else out there has it too, but Atomic has a little layer of silicone. It's all black silicone. It's called gummy bear silicone, and it's like a little mattier, and it works really good. But the other thing you can do is chapstick. People use Vaseline. And there's actually some stuff that it's called Mask Seal or something that's for that, but if you got chapstick with you, it's SPF anyways. That works really good, but the gummy bear silicone works great. Another thing is, a lot of people don't realize this, but opaque silicone is a little more supple than clear silicone. When silicone becomes clear, it hardens it just a little bit, and the opaque stuff just tends to be a little bit softer. So it just helps a little bit. So you stack a lot of things in your favor. So hopefully that helps. They make a lot of, the Atomics are really low volume, but a really high field of view. And they use good glass, and they have a lot of different styles. So they make a lot of people don't realize they have different width of skirts. They'll have like narrow, medium, and wide or something like that. There's 3 different widths. So make sure to check that if you go in and size them up in a store. So I've even seen people in stores that didn't know that. It's hidden behind the little buckle and it's just like printed on the silicone. And that can make or break the seal.
Yeah. We got them.
That's
wait,
it.
there was one where I think Ivory Johnson said he's got like 100 dives, but every dive still feels like the first one in a lot of ways, and that's okay. I mean, there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's kind of why you do it.
Wait, is this dating advice or
No.
marriage advice?
No, he's asking about the dives.
Oh, diving.
Because he
Okay.
wants to become a dive master, or he or she.
Oh,
I'm not
I
sure if
got you.
Ivory's.
Ivory Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, no, that's okay. There's dives that I do that still there's certain elements of each dive. It feels like the first time. I mean, you got a different current, you got a different depth, you got a different visibility, you got a different temperature. Very rarely is it going to be the exact same dive. So yeah, I mean that's not unusual. So.
Yeah, and sometimes it may just be about increasing that frequency too. So like
Yeah,
if
that's
you
true.
go diving only a couple times a year, it's gonna feel like the first time just because that's enough time to lose it.
Yeah.
First dive my very first dive when I get in, especially his, the first dive is always a little trickier. There's always a little bit of a refocusing, and for him it's like 3 dives, you know. So I think that's it, guys. This is our first YouTube. I want to thank everybody for coming on. It's getting a little past his bedtime. He's starting to fade, even though he's got this devil shirt on or whatever it is.
It's the Predators. We're the Preds.
Predators. Okay, the Preds. OTS Guardian full face mask. Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for the content. I hope to meet you at DEMA in November. There's Dive Talk
there's
right
Dive
there.
Talk. All right,
Hey,
good,
what's
good,
happening?
good.
Hey, if you want, we'd be
Yeah,
happy to go on a live anytime. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be good times.
It would be great. And thanks for jumping on here. We appreciate it. We'll definitely be at DEMA, so
Yeah.
just give us a shout. Amber, they don't have the Powerade popsicles at Walmart. Okay, all right. That's our cue. So we are having to get off right now. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Taste Buds. I appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks, Dive Talk, for the shout.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next week. This is our first one ever.
Yep.
We really appreciate it. Hope everybody has a good Monday morning and, of course, a good night.
All
We'll
right.
see you later.
See y'all later.
All right.